Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
Tonight, the show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. Well, a lot is taking place so fast. Therefore, everybody must work hard to stay on the cutting edge as far as making sense of our politics is concerned, and of course, remaining on top of all matters. Tonight, this is Sound Candy Talk Live. 72 people have cast their vote already, and only 42 have liked the video. Justified. So from the look of things, the majority of Kenyans think the government need to up their. Glad to report we are back on the main channel as well, and therefore we are asking everybody to join from wherever you are. Sound Candy Talk Live YouTube channel, and we are also live on X as well as extended to Facebook.
You are watching Sound Candy Talk Live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for Sound Candy Talk this amazing afternoon, the amazing evening, amazing moment, and amazing time that we have gathered here to bring analysis and getting where you are from. So everywhere you're watching, please, I just salute you and say thank you for tuning in for Sound Candy Talk. Today we're going to have a great conversation, and we're going to have a good time together as we are sharing and bringing out our nation for another higher part. And today we'll be checking out a lot of things that are happening throughout the day. But today our major point is on the story of the major point tonight is all about the story about betting. The companies are saying that the betting should be stopped, and others saying that betting should continue. There's a controversy whereby they're saying if they start marketing betting companies, they will lack work and they will lack jobs. So I will also be checking more information on that and other many more information, and we'll be analyzing them tonight. So I welcome you inside the studio. The link to join up the studio is on the comment section. Please use the link to join and be part and parcel of this as you are checking out this. And I will welcome you all. Let us feel free to share your opinions tonight. And tonight on our poll question, we're having an amazing question whereby we ask, do you support the new gambling advertisement restriction by BCLB? Do you support the new gambling advertisement restriction by BCLB? That's our poll question tonight. Please also be free and honesty to participate on the poll question tonight as we are checking out more details and checking out a lot of things that is going on, or a lot of things that are cooking.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
Thank you and welcome back. This is Sound Candid Talk for those who are joining up new. And if you haven't clicked the subscription button, please do so that we can work together and have a good time together as you're moving on. This is Open Political Forum Show, and you are free to join the show on the link on the comment section. They will not go for so much, but one-on-one I will divert into the matter of the day, and then we'll check out the outcomes of the day later. But first of all, let us begin up with the matter and the talk of the day. One of the talk of the day is all about the betting. What is the benefit of the betting and what has been the betting throughout? And parents, do you advocate for betting? What do you speak or what do you see about betting? I would also like to hear from you and your opinions too, because they matter too. And one-on-one, today I'll hit the nail on the head by starting with the story of betting, whereby the BCLB has restricted that content creators who have been advocating or advertising betting companies that they should stop. When the content creators come today and responded to what's it, saying that if we stop marketing or branding for betting, meaning that we are losing the job, meaning that the people that we have employed, they will go home. So we will be checking that controversy and seeing, did the government allow or put the clear infrastructure? First of all, let us begin with the infrastructure or the restriction that the BCLB did, and then we'll know what we have been speaking about.
Control and Licensing Board has released advertising guidelines after a 30-day suspension on gambling promotion expired. Let's take a look at some of them. Now, all gambling ads and marketing communication now require the approval of the BCLB and classification by the Kenya Film and Classification Board. They are also required to carry a responsible gambling message, and where print ads are concerned, 20% of the space should be dedicated to responsible gambling messages and advisories in proportional font. The use of content creators, influencers, or celebrities in gambling ads is no longer permitted. Branding on walls, buildings, buses, or street poles is also no longer permitted. The use of testimonials from former winners is also no longer permitted. The same applies to road shows, and no advertising is permitted near schools, religious institutions, playgrounds, or malls. The frequency of advertisements has also been regulated. Operators are now only allowed to advertise twice a week in print media and then only on the sports pages. Outdoor advertising is now restricted to electronic or digital billboards, with each operator allowed to display a maximum of 2 advertisements per hour.
This is what is cooking. This is what is going on kitchen. That is what they're saying all about it. Because many people are complaining over it, and many people are many youth are complaining over that restrictions. More so, the people are complaining so much are the content creators. They're saying that if it's being stopped, meaning that some of them they are losing their work. Some of them they are taking other people at home, and others will not be able to do it because this one shows that wana uwezo wa kufanya hivyo. We'll be checking towards that also, and it will be good so that we can hear from you. Please, if you have any comment and if you're having any conversation, please let me hear from you so that we can move on together and we can have this great conversation together, as even we are checking many more details and many communication further towards this and having this great conversation also together as we are moving on swiftly and we are moving on. We're on and on and on and on and on and on. So I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear from parents too. Parents more. So you parents, I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear from everyone, because everyone, this is our nation, and we are trying to bring up everything to an order. So if we don't raise our voice up, we don't speak up, we will begin blaming other people for making the decision for us, which will not be good at all. And we will be there saying they're just complaining but not raising up the issue well. So I would like to hear from you too, and listen from you too. I'll listen from you once again too, because your opinions matters too, and everyone everyone has the opportunity to share and also comment on his videos too, as we are moving on. I'll play this video again so that we can hear the restrictions and the jurisdiction that has been placed in order with the betting company. Then we'll move from there as we are checking it out.
The Betting Control and Licensing Board has released advertising guidelines after a 30-day suspension on gambling promotion expired. Let's take a look at some of them. Now, all gambling ads and marketing communication now require the approval of the BCLB and classification by the Kenya Film and Classification Board. They are also required to carry a responsible gambling message, and where print ads are concerned, 20% of the space should be dedicated to responsible gambling messages and advisories in proportional font. The use of content creators, influencers, or celebrities in gambling ads is no longer permitted. Branding on walls, buildings, buses, or street poles is also no longer permitted. The use of testimonials from former winners is also no longer permitted. The same applies to roadshows, and no advertising is permitted near schools, religious institutions, playgrounds, or malls. The frequency of advertisements has also been regulated. Operators are now only allowed to advertise twice a week in print media and then only on the sports pages. Outdoor advertising is now restricted to electronic or digital billboards, with each operator allowed to display a maximum of 2 advertisements per hour.
Thank you and welcome back. This is Political Open Forum Show, and we'll be checking more details towards this, because this one now is getting hot and it's getting credibility and it's getting crazy. I see Lala is in the building. Lala, how are you? Lala, can you hear me?
I can hear. Give me a second. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. As we're giving Lala a second, I want to do this. I know this is crazy, but let us do this. Hey, Kenyans tumeamua. I like the courage Gen Z Mokonayo. I want to check out this, and then I will hear your response too. As we are waiting also the other response and other people's response as we are moving on swiftly. I want to hear from you, Kenyans too. I want to hear from everyone. I want to listen from you as even we are moving on swiftly checking out this, because there's a lot of complaint, there are a lot of issues being raised up, and many things coming up on board. But I know we will work towards that and we'll get rid of that. It will be good. This is today, and we are checking about the story about something about a lot of gambling, BCLB, and other things that are being spoke all around throughout. Because BCLB is saying that that the message should be spread on about betting is the regulation of betting. And while content creators have come up, they are complaining that if the BCLB is as close and say that content creators should not advertise for betting companies, meaning they are losing the job. While the content creators, they are saying that if this is done because of politicals, whereby the politicians, they're allowing their channels to stream and or advert the betting for betting and the betting companies. By content creators, they are being not allowed to advertise for the betting companies, which they are complaining and saying that it was not right. The government didn't do right to do that. It's supposed to go and sit the content creators down. The BCLB should sit with the content creators down, and then they agree to the conditions and how they want it to be done. And then now they will do it accordingly to the way they want, instead of them stopping them. Because we will be sharing their views. I'll share their views a little bit, but before I share their views, I want to listen from Lala first. Lala, how are you?
I'm well, Shadizo. How are you?
I'm fine too.
Oh yes, just stepping in and looking at the topic on gambling. What is going on with the subject?
The subject today is the content creators. They have been banned completely from working from from betting companies. For example, like Mozart Bet, Sport Pesa, like that. So the betting was suspended a little bit back then, in previous month, and due to that suspension, they were putting the alignments whereby they wanted to ban betting, but they say that we will put the regulations so that people will not get more addicted towards it. And after coming back, they came back with the restrictions. And one of the restrictions that they have measured on is all about the marketing of the betting. And we have seen that on the marketing of the betting, they have banned they have banned, one of the things they have banned is if it's being given out to a TV station, they are saying that the TV should supposed to play only 2 times in a day as that, and also have other regulations too. And then the betting companies, they had partnered with the young men who works as the content creators online, whereby the BCLB has commanded that any young man or any person that works for a betting company, the contract stops and they will not be allowed to work for any betting company anymore. So today, the content creators came up together with the online influencers, and then they replied to the BCLB, whereby they were complaining, saying that if BCLB will disagree to the betting companies to work with them, meaning that they will lose the job, and if an artist lose the job, meaning that also some people have lost the job. Because right now I can't lie to you, Lala. The biggest people who are paying good in promotion, even these TVs that we're seeing they're working, it is about the betting companies. They're the one with the money, they're the one with who pays very well on adverts. And so there is another issue has been raised up by the young men, saying that this thing is looking with a controversy, whereby the politicians, they have allowed their channels to stream the adverts, but denied those people who are not inside inside the cycle to not broadcast the adverts, because the adverts, they have money, because they want to raise up the cash for the advertisement about the betting companies. So that is the conflict that's going on right now. I would like to hear from you as analyzing it.
Thanks, Shadizo. I think I don't know, much about the gambling business in Kenya. But what I know, there's a lot of advertisement. And I just want to say this. I want to make a parallel between the betting and alcohol. In the years past, when you had Busa and Changa, those were illegal, okay? The police would arrest you and you would be harassed. But when it came to the breweries and Pilsen and others, those were legal, accepted. They're all alcohol. They have same negative effect. I would possibly what want to call it. Yet a segment is discriminated against because it is for the lower class, but the other side is acceptable. So it's almost as if the government was fighting for the breweries to have the profits and to uh, finance whatever it is that they're financing, or get the bribe, whatever the case may be. So I make that parallel with the betting business, because if it is bad for young men or women to work there, then why is it good for it to make this huge profits? Okay, why is it that only particular people are allowed to operate? What connection do they have to these people who are making these decisions? Are they not the one who are bribing to kind of protect themselves? And then these young people have been. So the thing is, if they don't want the young men to work there, then the betting should go. They should look at other things instead of allowing betting. But let me say this to my fellow Kenyans. You see, even countries that have allowed betting, okay, there are a lot of guardrails, okay, to uh, to help. For example, I practice psychology, okay, and the government or the state or the agencies actually wanted me to operate close to a casino, because they are what we call problem gamblers. There are people who detect them, and so they needed to get the help that they need as soon as possible. So clearly, government knows that gambling is not good for the society. People have lost almost everything in the name of gambling. That's why there were a lot of money. So, in other words, there's a lot that is going on there that is not good for our society. But because money is flowing, they close their eyes. When actually studies have linked gambling disorders to variation of various like brain region, particularly the striatum and the frontal cortex, which are involved in reward processing, social, emotional problems, stress, and more. You see, so clearly there is something that goes on in people's brain when they are in this type of business that is very destructive to the society. So if the government is going to be hard on our young people, let them get hard on gambling, because we know it hurts a lot of people. Okay, so you cannot uh, have your cake and eat it at the same time. Okay, so that is my assessment of the whole thing. So um, uh, I don't support this idea that the business continues as usual. Okay, gambling goes on, except these young people cannot, this content creator cannot be part of it. Um, I think if they allow gambling to go on, there got to be a lot of rail guards or guardrail to protect the vulnerable, to make sure that our society is not sold to this idea. We have had cities destroyed completely. Atlantic City was a thriving place. They allow gambling to take place there. You go there. I went there when it was the boom, like for 30 years ago. Now there is nothing there, because people get into gambling and the society is gone. Okay, money is seen, excitement, a lot of money flowing, but it's actually a lot of people are crying. You know, a lot of people are killing themselves. Suicide is going on way up, okay, because of gambling. So I don't want it to be banned because people have choices, but I think there has to be a study to help Kenyans understand what goes on. So I don't like the idea that one segment is allowed to operate to make the money, and yet then the other group is kicked out. But I'm sure they're allowed to go and gamble. I'm really sure. You know, they can't work there, but they can take their money there. Is that not correct, Shedizo? Can they gamble? Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are young men or young women allowed to do gambling as long as yes, 18 years old, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. But then they can't work there.
Yes.
That's double standard. They should not be. That is that if they're old enough, kama ni wamekuwa watu wazima waweza kufanya gambling na wanaambia wawezi fanya kazi hapo kwa sababu no, that should not happen. So to me, I think let them deal with the problem of gambling. Let them address gambling itself, not to discriminate against other people. That's my take on it.
Okay, before we move on, let me just play this video, then we will check it a little bit. I'll not play it all, but I'll cut it a little bit, just a bit of it, so that we can get the response. Kuna mtu mwingine ajui ni nini imejibiwa, anashangaa tu mnaongelea story ya kujibiwa. Before we move on to the next story that we are having here, mambo hapo imechemuka. I'm having a lot, so if you are coming up to the studio, please come on time, kuja mapema ndo tuweze kukuwa na wakati mzuri wa kuchambua na kudadavua masuala mengi, na pia na uko na wakati mzuri wa kuweza kujieleza vizuri. Wacha tutazame hii, naona mitambo hiyo na tatizo, lakini tutaona vile tunapanga. Wacha tutazame hii kisha tuone vile kuko.
Presser, that the press statement by the content creators, who I'll read on behalf, and I'll proceed by saying, we, the Kenyan influencer and content creator community, are indeed concerned with the recent directive from the Betting Control and Licensing Board, popularly known as BCLB. So the ban that on the influencers from participating in betting adverts is not welcomed. We understand that there is need to protect the public, especially the underage. A blanket ban cannot be the solution. It is a blow to the creative economy and to the thousands of young people whose livelihoods depend on producing digital content. That move not only limits the creative space, but it leaves many people jobless and further questions the work of the digital media and fighting against the legitimacy of content creation as a profession. Let's be honest, social media has conquered advertising. Influencers are now the frontline modern marketing, and our interaction needs to be responsibly managed and not completely abolished. We respectfully ask BCLB to suspend the ban, sit down with us within 48 hours. We are more than willing to send representatives for a positive sit down and negotiate towards the model that ensures responsible advertising via age restriction content regulations. All we request is to be part of the dialogue. We practice cooperation, not isolation. As Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. Let's succeed together for the good of the industry, the economy, and the country. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Mayoyo. That is my stage name. And it is quite unfortunate that this ban occurred. And it has really affected us as content creators, putting into consideration the fact that we have a lot of people depending on us. Sisi kama content creators, tuko na watu wengi sana ambao wanatutegemea. Na tulikuwa tunaomba the government, serikali, tafadhali tusikize. tafadhali tusikize. Hapa kati yetu ni vile hatuwezi sema tumeumia sana, na very soon hii Nairobi hatuoni tukikaa, tunarudi ushago, kwa sababu many of us depend on these marketing gigs, ndo at least tulipe rent, tusaidie wazazi wetu. Personally, I run a foundation. Sijui watu tunalipia school fees itakuwaje. We are really stressed. So we really want the government, we plead with the government to listen to our cry. Tafadhali. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. We are here as betting influencers from different betting companies, and we are here to address the nation over a directive that was issued the other day. According to us, the directive is not only unfair but lacks logic. The directive by the BCLB the other day is unfair to us because you are telling us not to influence for betting companies, where else you're still living the traditional media, that is TV and radio, right? So, Nagazeti and print media. This to me seems like there's fire, a building has caught fire. You're calling in the fire brigade team to come and put out the fire. But part of the team, like a quarter part of the team, are the only ones that have the oxygen cylinders. And then the rest, no, a quarter has CO2 and the rest work on oxygen. I don't think we will put out the fire if we have more people with oxygen trying to put out a fire at a building that just a few work on CO2. So to us, this is not about regulating and helping the youth. If it was about the thinking about the youth and the betting prevalence, I think we would have not targeted a segment only. So this comes out as hypocrisy rather than regulation. So we are ready for any conversations about regulation, but we will not take hypocrisy. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kendrick Mulamwah. Yeah, popularly known as Mulamwah, comedian and a social media person. I don't know if I'm a celebrity. Yeah, that you will tell me. Now, I'm here to stand with my brothers and sisters over a directive that was issued by the BCLB in the past few days about banning, the celebrity advertisement and whatever. First of all, I have to say you cannot, make an egg without, you cannot make an omelette without breaking several eggs. Yes, the betting comes with its own downfalls, but we can be used for the good. As influencers, we can also influence the people outside there, the gamers, on how to do responsible, gaming and responsible placing of whatever they are placing. So we can still be used for good, because when you just ban like that and you leave other media, to do the same, even international companies are still advertising in Kenyan soil and market, because you can be online and get an advertisement from Uganda, from Tanzania, from wherever, pushing the same thing. So I would like the government to at least check on that, because we were making an income from that, and also so many other people depend on us, not only family but the people who we work with, because we have had to dismiss them. We have camera people, we have locations managers, we have editors. Like a single person you see here has a team of about 15 behind them. So right now, when you just cut that down, it means all those 15, they are going home together with the artist. So I believe there is a way we can work it out. And also an inquiry is to actually tell us what celebrity means, who is a celeb and who is not, because there will be a border guy somewhere wearing a reflector for a certain company. Is it okay for him to wear it? What if I do and I ride a border also? Yeah, that's also something that we should get a directive from. So I think every rose has a thorn, but there is a way we can, we can come to an agreement on how it can be done moving forward. Kwa sababu
This is how things are. Sigara bado iko Kenya, lakini pale kwa packet wameandika ukikunywa inadhuru afya yako. Mungu ikataa. Mbona mkatae betting sasa? Mseme imekuwa mbaya. So this is the controversy, and this is the Gen Zs and the millennium and the content creators defending themselves because of working for different companies for betting. I would like to hear from you. I'd like to hear your opinions too. About TikTok, have you ever betted before? What betting has caused into your life, and how have you been able to manage the betting? I would like to hear from you. What TikTok too? Hey, niambie too. Have you ever bet before? Hi, okay. How did it? How was it? How did you encounter betting? Do you support betting should be there or should be banned completely? And if they are asking like that, may one hear from the speech, the Mulamwah speech saying that if they are putting the style, they have to put the clear, because you can't say that ati tumeacha hii lakini tunaruhusu hii. Nasema kama ni kwa watu wewe mtu wa ndudhimo anaendesha ndudhi na amevaa reflector, mtamwendelea kumruhusu aendelee hiyo, because it's also marketing. Mmekataa isipakwe kwa painting walls, that's like things, but they are saying like mbona mruhusu one channels continue to nini, the others izimwe. Msema mmeenda kuzima moto na mmepea watu watatu, watu waine, mmepea watu waine carbon, mmepea watu waine nini, CO2 which is the carbon monoxide, and then mmepea wengine wote oxygen, and then mnaambiwa wazime moto. Hao wanamwaga oxygen, hao wanamwaga CO2, hiyo moto itazima aje? So this is the fire on the mountain, and I'd like to hear from you. Please share your opinions on the comment section too. I'll be reading them and be sharing them. Team TikTok, I'll be reading them and also be sharing them. Just speak to me. What have you ever encountered during gambling, and then do you say that gambling should be stopped? This is the poll question tonight, whereby the poll question says that, hey, do you agree with BCLB on the matter of gambling, that they banish out marketing of gambling? So that's one of the questions on the poll question. Please make sure you vote, and please share your opinions too on the comment section. The poll question says that, do you support the new gambling advertisement restriction by BCLB? That's the poll question tonight. The answers are there. Please vote for vote, and also remember, as you vote, also like the video and share the video so that we can be moving together. Team TikTok, for those who want to join up the show, or you can move the other side on Facebook, on YouTube, Sound Candy Talk, on Facebook, Sound Candy Talk, and then join up using the link on the comment section, that you can have also the conversation towards this as we are moving on swiftly. Lal, I think we have heard from the also Gen Zs. I would like you give me the before I want to go to another story, but I would like you give me your sum up on that story as we are moving on.
The story, I think I listened to those young people, and I think it's double standard here, where some parts of gambling is allowed to operate. That's from my understanding, because I'm not close enough to know the details of some of the issues involved here. But what is apparent here is that gambling is legal. Okay, it's legal for only some people to work, okay, to make the money, but it's illegal for these young people to be part of that money, okay, either promotion, whatever the case may be. So to me, I think the whole idea around gambling need to be examined. How it is allowed, what is allowed, and how it's done. This is not the right way to manage or control such an industry that we know is not good for all of us. It's not good. I mentioned two areas of the brain that this gambling works on, and one of them is a frontal cortex, which is frontal lobe. That is the executive function. That's the part of your brain that organizes, that controls things, okay, in your brain. Okay, so things like making decisions, bad and good, whatever, and that is where we can even see the brain and see exactly what's going on inside the brain. Okay, so the activities, they are what goes on when somebody's gambling. Okay, so clearly it is something that is not good for our families and our children. and it must be said, because the fact that people are gambling all over does not mean a good thing. There are people who will resist it, but some will not. Vistro Stratum is a region where rewards is given. Somebody may go, have clients, have people that I'm working with. They went to the gambling and the home is gone. So the wife comes and asking me, what do we do? Okay, because that reward part of the brain simply does not listen to reasons. I got children in school, I got this and that. They just go and do it. Okay, it's like it's like somebody on crack cocaine, or somebody on heroin, or somebody alcoholic. Okay, so it is really an illness. Okay, so so we know very well that when gambling comes to a community, there is nothing they're going to bring. Okay, yes, they're going to trap money from your pocket, and that's the money that is up there. People see it as huge, but if somebody's crying, somebody's having difficult time making ends meet, just like tobacco. Tobacco, people smoke, there are cigarettes, and there's profit for the companies, but then the government will have to pay for the illness, the lung cancer. In other words, what it is, the damage is causing is more than the profit it brings. Gambling is the same thing. It's just robbing somebody to give somebody money in his pocket. It's a form of pickpocketing. These are their industry. Okay, pickpocketing and all that is industry. So to me, I think we got to really talk about this gambling thing. Okay, there need to be more restrictions, but it has to be fair. Okay, and Kenyans got to know exactly kile ambacho kinaendelea in some of these places called casinos and others. They are not good. From my perspective, as somebody who is a clinician, okay, working with people like that, I don't support that. Okay. I don't support the idea that people are allowed to do the things they do, and the people are suffering, and those children, those wives, those husbands, and others, because this person is crazy. For the moment they are in those casinos or whatever is gambling place, the brain, you look at the picture of the brain, is crazy. The activities going on in those areas of their brain, they are insane. That's why it's called a sickness. Okay, and so why would we let this happen to our people? And then now we are talking of allowing some people to have it, limiting the people who now get the money for that loot. That's what we are doing, and so that they can wash themselves with the money. And we know they represent a certain segment of society. They are not for the common man down there. So I think it's wrong, definitely wrong. So that's my position. And also as a preacher, also I don't like gambling. I don't think it's a sin. We don't want to talk about that now because that's what we're talking about. So to me, I think we need to regulate some things around it, and also to be, if we allow it, let us be fair in terms of allowing what we allow, because I'm not, this is the church, this is a society. A lot of things go on, but there got to be fairness. Back to you, Shadizo.
Thank you, Lala, for that communication too. I think we have get it. And for those who are hearing, tunasema mwenye masikio ambiwi sikio, basi umelipata, basi kama niko kulipata, na tunazidi kusonga vyema vizuri. Na wasi tafadhali link ipo comment section, tutumie kuingia studioni ili pia tuweze kujadiliana na kudadavua kiundani kabisa. Lakini kabla tusonge mbele kabisa, nataka tukukumbusha kitu moja, nataka tufanye kitu moja, na nyinyi ni watu wa nguvu sana, na mimi nawapenda bure. Nataka tuchukue tu dakika moja tu. Let us take just a minute and let us support Sound Candid Talk, and it will be good so that we can enable it to move and keep on going. So we are supporting Sound Candid Talk using the details on the screen. For those who are using M-Pesa in Kenya, you can use the till number is 51627. Hiyo till number cheza kiwewe kama uko na any amount you now having, kama unadhao 100k, any health chwani 200 zote zenye uko nazo, please cheza kiwewe hapo, itakuwa fiti sana, so that we move on together. And for those who are using abroad or we are not in Kenya, you can use the M-Pesa number, which is here +254 718 454 585, and the name is Bernard Makoha. The way it is there, and God will bless you. The details are still also moving on the screen down there. You can use them to continue as you are taking up of good discussion on this good moment too. So just we do so, and God will bless us. So I want to take another gear a little bit. We check the controversy bit a little bit. Lala, they have been having a controversy, and the controversy about the Betika and also other controversy are being brought up with this also. This is one of the things that's being brought up a controversy. But I will, as we are putting aside the story of betting and the marketing and all of that, I want to check out this. This is happened to one lady called Rose Njeri. Njeri was arrested. Later, he was because of forming a website and asking Kenyans to join up and check analysis of what the finance bill is to, and opening up a chance for people to speak about finance bill. And then he was arrested. Later, after some days, he was released. And then she complains. She asking that, why did you arrest me? Why did you arrest me? And then release me without telling me anything. Let us check this video out, and then we'll have a conversation about it.
Rose Njeri, the woman at the heart of a storm over the creation of a platform for feedback on the Finance Bill 2025, says she will become more deliberate about her activism. The web engineer and activist is settling back to her life's routine after a hectic few days during which she sprang to national prominence and fame, accused of cybercrime. Authorities claim she was behind the development of a digital platform designed to collect public feedback on the Finance Bill, an application that purportedly disrupted parliamentary email systems, according to the government. The soft-spoken mother of two spoke to Citizen TV's Ben Kirui.
A day after she was released on personal bond by the Milimani law courts, web developer and activist Rose Njeri was back in Nairobi's Embakasi area, quietly retwisting her dreadlocks at a local salon. It had been a long weekend in police custody, and it took much persuasion for her to agree to this interview. Njeri describes her arrest as ridiculous, but says the experience has only strengthened her resolve.
Umenilalisha cell usiku 4. You've kept me away from my kids for nothing. Yeah, you've awakened something. I saw it online. Someone chambuad the bill. Someone was like, we need an emailer like last year. See, last year there was one. But it's not an original idea. I was like, I can do this because now I have a few skills that I've picked up from school. So to me, it's just najenga portfolio.
She recounts being trailed by officers from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, and arrested during a graduation ceremony in Nairobi's industrial area. She was then taken to her home, where detectives conducted a search and seized electronics and digital devices.
Asema, we mama, tunajua mahali unaishi. House number 31. Ebu panda hizo stairs haraka ama tukugonge.
The 4 days that she spent in custody, she says, were the longest of her life. Yet the officers didn't seem to know what to charge her with.
Walipiga malaps kadhaa kabla wanifikishe DCI. So wakaniandikisha statement, but I told them I don't know how to write because I don't know what you want me to state. As in, nini nimefanya? You've not told me at this point. So sasa ndo wakaniambia, okay, I'm going to ask you questions and then you'll answer. Why did you make the Chrome extension you made? Nilitulia because at first I thought, jama, maybe I have bought a phone at some point in my life. It may be, you know, those stories you hear, or maybe mtu ameniekelea nimemuiba. But it's that.
Njeri was eventually presented in court on Tuesday and released on a personal bond of 100,000 Kenya shillings. The court is expected to rule on June 20th whether she will stand a trial on cybercrime charges. Her case has drawn sharp reactions from the civil society groups, who argue it reflects a growing crackdown on civic tech and online activism in Kenya. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Lala, that's what's going on. Kenya mzaki mchezo. Kenya, I don't do it.
Shadizo, I think I'm familiar with the situation because I think Maraga was one of those lawyers for this young lady. And even me, up to this moment, I don't really understand why she was arrested. I think when you have something like uh, uh, whatever what is the title, the paper of she was addressing the whatever the government position or government proposal. I think any Kenyan is allowed to raise their voice. Okay, whatever means they use, I think is okay. The only thing is what could happen if she's inaccurate. Then the government should publish a more accurate information to counter what she has published or whatever she's done. Okay, if there are laws that were violated, I think government should be able to go out and arrest her. That's perfectly legal. Okay, and bring charges to court on specific areas what she has done. And a lot of this thing can be done without even an arrest. Okay, arrest simply comes if she has refused to go to the to court, or she's such a danger to the point where she needs to be arrested immediately, which means that they have to have a very strong, evidence that this woman is might risk running away, or she has some dangerous weapon in a house that would jeopardize the nation. The government should have produced that. Why they would go and arrest somebody in the manner that they did. Otherwise, if there's a problem, you summon somebody, or you go and arrest them and tell them call their lawyer, and their lawyer is present, and then they read the charges, or the lawyer answer the questions, or whatever the case may be. But you don't do this to a mother. Look at those children, and the way they come to the house. I don't know, they're 15 or whatever, to arrest. Those kids are traumatized forever. Those things never go away in the mind of a child. They will tell you when they're old, they're going to be there. I don't know why Kenyans can't understand this. Up to after all these years of independence, we have schools, we study what trauma does to people, to children, how they forms or they infect the growth, whatever it is, of a child, both intellectually and emotionally. We know all that, but we still do the same dumb, stupid thing to go and arrest this person in that manner when nothing has been put across, to her. Yes, wondering why was I arrested? And so are we so incompetent, so insecure to go and arrest that simple young woman? What I mean, in this month that she was arrested, basically detained, you didn't know. And so to me, this is just a symptom of a bigger problem that Kenyans must deal with. Either we are still evolving in our own thinking, or we have so many evil people that need to be taken out. But at the end of the day, we must critique how we do our things, because the resources we have come to a stage where we can reason with each other, we can talk, we can follow the constitution, answer to those challenges that are there as Kenyans. But we choose to use these barbaric techniques and tactics, which I think is hurting us very badly. That's my comment about Njeri. I'm sorry for Njeri. Pole sana. We got free counseling for you. If you're listening to us, please, we will try to help you deal with the trauma that you have to go through, plus your children. Thank you. Back to you.
Lala, I have a question before we nini. We have seen that Njeri she says that that there's something they have awakened, and she said that she just created a platform. And my question is, do you feel like how do I say it? Do you feel like Jerry was even summarizing or was making the government work to be easier so that they can even be able to get the feedback from wananchi at the one place. Was it think that she was doing wrong or she was doing right, according to you? Lala, can you hear me?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you now.
I can hear you now. What's the question?
My question is, we have seen Jerry saying that Jerry created a platform whereby Kenyans were supposed to send their views and their opinions to about the finance bill. Do you feel like she did right to create the platform because it was easier for even for the government to go there and check the response of the wananchi towards the finance bill? Did you feel like the government should? How can you say that government should use chance or opportunity as advantage for?
Yes. This is what Kenyans must know. If you go to mature democracy, they have got this think tank, this organization, their job is to try to help people understand the policies of the government, collect views, and if they are actually expanding democratic process. Jerry, what she's done is what a Kenyan should do if she has that capacity, because she is educating Kenyans. Unless there's something else I don't understand, maybe I'm not close enough to understand. So what is it that she did? Somebody has to convince me, because that's exactly what she should be doing. She should be applauded for doing something like that. To me, that's what democracy is. Those are the things.
That's what Lala, I'm saying. Why did the government did apply to that for Jerry, but instead arresting Jerry? And I'm feeling like Jerry had created a platform whereby the government was easier to come on the website and see all the communications and the response from the wananchi.
Some years back, Shedizo, I'd landed in JK Airport, airport in Nairobi, and I'd not been away for a long time, and I was so excited. So I went to one of the restaurants there, and I bought tea, and I saw some of my fellow Kenyans sitting there, and I decided just to buy all of them tea. I said, kunyweni chai, because nimekuja nyumbani ninasikia vizuri, naona sasa ni watu kwambia kunyweni chai, watu wakaja wanaanza kunywa chai. You know, I was arrested I was arrested. They started asking me, what am I up to? And I just landed in the country. Okay, I'd taken to one of those police stations at the airport, and later on, of course, they let me go. But that's the kind of thinking we have. Jerry issue is that example. So I don't think our people really understand what democracy is. The so-called educated people, men and women. I think, and instead of even learning through that, and making sure people are educated and helped to understand, they don't. It seems as if they are sent from the higher office. They get the reward. That's how you get a reward. The more arrests you make and irrational ones, that's what is rewarded, not somebody who is really trying to help us, fulfill, our commitment to our nation. People like Jerry who's trying to educate us. Back to you.
Thank you, Lola. Thank you, Lola, for that analysis. I think we are moving on swiftly. I want to welcome other people. Please let us join up, because we will be taking another level or another gear. We are moving. We have a lot on board. We have a lot to discuss. We have a lot to put analysis, because we also have another analysis for this. There's same stories that I'll be bringing up later. For Team TikTok, let me just give a shout out from Team TikTok, but let me begin with Team YouTube first. On YouTube, we have many people. Thank you for those who are joining up. Thank you for those who are coming up. Namuona mtu anasema pale anajiita Daminator FM. Hey, thank you. Anasema hey Bernard. Bernard raising greetings from Kasarani. Thank you Team Kasarani represented in the building. Namuona pata nani mwingine anasema hapa. There's another lady called Esther. Saying good evening Bernard and good evening everyone. Team Facebook, I think so. Let me get out. Let me read out Team TikTok a little bit. They are amazing. They are doing good job. Team TikTok, for indeed you are good and you are amazing. Team TikTok, for those who are being mwaso kwanza hao ndo wameafektiwa kwanza na historia nini sana, because many of them are TikTokers who work throughout this branches so that zinawapea pesa kidogo ya kufanya nini. Namuona hapa mtu anajiita Castro anasema kwamba joining, thank you from Kawe. Castro, you haven't tell me where you're watching us from. Namuona hapa mtu anajiita she kienyenye she Kenya, thank you she. Namuona D thank you. Naona mtu anajiita hapa Olay 69, thank you. Namuona BK 07, namuona JR, thank you. Namuona Queena, thank you. Namuona she mkuu, thank you. Olay 68, thank you. Namuona Galda Mungo, thank you. Mungo tena. Namuona Faith, naona mwingine Anita, thank you Anita. Namuona Kevo anasema niko ndani. Namuona nani hapa David, thank you David. Namuona Colton, thank you in the building. Namuona Frit anasema kwamba yeye ana support BCLB from banning out betting completely. Asemi watoe advert, anasema wa ban betting completely. Namuona Mike anasema kwamba ukijua ile yenye betting imenifanya hawezi kubali kuendelea kubet. Namuona nani mwingine hapa Colt amerudi tena. Namuona Ivory Wines, thank you. Namuona amejita nani Malak, thank you. Namuona Lina anasema ako pale in the building. Namuona Bin, namuona mamake Joy, thank you. Namuona Iman, thank you. Namuona 1G, thank you. You're still in the building. Thank you for tapping the screen. Wambo, thank you. Namuona Surios 999, thank you. Namuona Dan, thank you. Naona nani hapa kuna mtu anajiita hapa Opiomi, thank you. 254, thank you. Namuona Zaburi 123 anajiita hivyo Zaburi. Alafu and then lastly or not least is called Magi, and then the last person in the call is 9009. Thank you for those who are still joining up. Thank you for those who are always working up together. Let us continue sharing the stream. Let us being part and parcel of this, as even we are spreading this new communication and every details from here. Just tell me your opinions too. Do you support BCLB from banning completely the bar and betting? Ama unafili kwamba watu wetu betting yote completely? Also do a videos opinion they matters too, because they are valid too. I love you so much as we are taking another gear and checking out on the political front, because mambo mengi yanafanyika, mengi yanapikwa, mengine yanainuka, mengine yanazidi kusonga mbele, na mengine yanazidi kuchemuka, mengine yanazidi kukua moto kama pasi, na mengi yote tutakuwa nazidi kuyaangalia na tunazidi kuyadadavua hapa ndani ya Sound Candid Talk. Na nazidi kuwakumbusha tu, kama hujapoteza kidude cha kusubscribe, tafadhali bonyeza ili tuweze kutembea wote pamoja. Usikoe ati wewe unaacho nyuma alafu watu wengine wanasonga mbele. Ni vibaya sana wewe kuacha nyuma wakati wengine tunasonga mbele. Wacha tusonge mbele pamoja, tuweke nchi yetu kwa mstari sawa, tujenge nchi yetu sawa, tufanye kila kitu kiwe sawa, na tuweke kila kitu kiwe sawa sawa. Tukiweka kila kitu kwa sawa sawa, nahakikishia wa Kenya hatutaona magumu ama hatutaona mengine kama haya ambayo yanatokea yakiweza kutokea. Manake mengine yanatokea kwa sababu wa Kenya hatutaki kuzungumza, lakini nashukuru kwa sababu hao vijana wamejitokeza na wakazungumza na wakajitetea haki yao, wakisema kwamba kama wanataka tuongee waje tuongee, lakini tuweke mikakati sawa na tuweke mambo sawa sawa, na tuweke miradi vile inafaa, tupange hii hapa, tupange hii pale, ili kuhakikisha kila kitu ama kila mtu bado anabaki na manufaa yake. Nazidi kushukuru wanao jiunga na sisi, Lakini wacha niwapeleke kiwango kingine kidogo, tumuone naibu wa rais ambaye amekuwa kwa mzunguko pia, na yeye akimsaidia rais, akisema kwamba anasaidia rais kutengeneza miradi na kujenga mingine. Sasa sijui miradi gani hiyo pi, lakini wacha tazame hii alafu kisha tutaweza kuzungumza kiufupi kuhusiana na hili swala la naibu wa rais.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has assured Kenyans of their security, even as political temperatures continue to rise ahead of the 2027 general election. Kindiki, who led empowerment forums in Kitui County, warned against incitement of Kenyans by leaders ahead of 2027. Kamau Mwangi reports.
Remarks made by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua 3 weeks ago continue to come under sharp criticism from the president's allies as the political battle in the country continues to intensify. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, who led empowerment forums in Kaiti and Kitui East constituencies on Thursday, days after the opposition met at Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka's Seikuru residence, has assured Kenyans of the government commitment to ensure the country's stability as the 2027 race begins to take shape.
God loves Kenya so much, and the government will do whatever it is to make sure our country is stable and safe. Musiwe na wasiwasi ati kunaweza kuwa sijui na machafuko. We cannot allow.
While calling out his predecessor for alleged advancement of hatred and divisive politics, Kindiki warned that the government will use all machinery at its disposal to stop any form of bloodshed.
Mwenye anataka kuomba kura hakuna shida. Mwenye ako na maoni tofauti ya siasa, there is no problem, but do not injure national security.
Sisi tulikuwa tunajua Kalonzo Musyoka ana makosa mingi sana. Yeye anakaanga tu katikati. Sasa ameingia huyu mjamaa ya ukabila, ameingia hapo ndani, ameanza tabia ingine ya kusema expert.
Ule jamaa ni broker number 1 na kazi yake ni kukosanisha. Badala ya kupanga mipango ya Kenya, alikuwa anazunguka akituambia hapa maneno atio mlima sijui nini. Si hata hapa Makueni nimepita na nimeona mko na mlima yenu.
During the empowerment drives, Wiper's Kalonzo Musyoka has been implored to ditch the opposition for a plum government job. Kamau Mwangi, Citizen TV.
Ni hivyo kuko. Umeona naibu wa rais akiyatetea pale na kuyashukisha kiasi. Nazidi kusumbuliwa namba lakini tutakuwa sawa. Lala, umesikiza nini ya wasia wa naibu wa rais? Unasemaje kuhusiana na hiyo?
You know, I think bad manners is the problem here. See, when you have had bad manners in politics in the past, it comes to haunt even things that could be genuine. What am I saying here? There are things that Kenyans should be very, very clear about. For example, Ruto to us is a corrupt man, okay? And we know that, okay? But the problem is that when the other side also seems to rally around someone whom just few months ago, was seen as the epitome of what is wrong, especially Gachagua, okay? Now is riding the troop on the other side. Then what you are basically doing is you are coming to a point like a hyena, where kuna njia mbili, niende huku ama niende huku. They're confusing wananchi. And so it is as if Ruto, with all his flaws, people are saying, you know, we are with him for the time being. We don't know what to do. So it's as if people do not know what to do, based on the fact that the history has been checkered with all kinds of challenges, tribalism, corruption, and now the other one is also we don't accept him, but he is captured. He seems to be made alliance with a certain group of people that seems to be holding him accountable to some things that need to be done. So it's as if his Ruto side is being justified in some ways, while the other side is seen now as a warmonger. They want to bring chaos, and that's what they're preaching. And so the wananchi are stuck because of the original sin, which is we don't want to do right from the beginning. So I think it's a call to all of us as Kenyans to really think long term, because this short term, conveniences don't solve the problem. They actually complicate things, so that we don't deal with it now, but our children will have to deal with it. So, in my mind, I think the political landscape is very confusing, is very annoying to some of us, but because they're basically strengthening Ruto a little bit, which is kind of sad. But seeing the confusion on the other side, you're asking, are we trading this for that one? Okay. And this is where I think Gen Z, who have actually worked hard to bring us to something that we are seeing happening because of people are afraid of Gen Z. I think it's critical for us to give them that credit. But at the same time, we also have to be careful, because Gen Z also have been used by others who are sitting on the side, using them. They want to jump in to take the glory. So it's as if council has been metastasized to the point where different segments have been impacted. Okay. So as Kenyans, we need to have another voice, put our voices together, those who are for truth, justice, and recognize it when it's being done. Whether it's Ruto doing it, whether whoever's doing it, let us hold them accountable to that. But at the end of the day, we gotta go with someone who reflects our wishes. And to me, I don't see it among even the team that are out there claiming to be the liberators. So that's where we are. We are really at a bad shape at this point in terms of where we move on from here. Temporarily, things may be a little better, but it's a little darker because of the fact that there's so much division in there. So Kindiki talking, his message is there, but the question is, are really people listening to it, that message, or are people listening from their own little clips, their own little pockets, minus the national agenda, which actually many of us who really have it deep down in our heart, we have not really come to the front to say this is what we want. They can campaign out there, whatever, but I think the message is basically the same. The message of this our side is a very tribal, okay, still. They may be as if they are not, but they really are. At the end of the day, people go tribal, which is the saddest thing that is happening. So that's my assessment of Kindiki's, talk. I think they're scared that some people are digging deeper into their own way of thinking, led by Wamunyoro. And so we are in a bad shape, in a bad place. Somebody maybe have to challenge me here, because I don't see a very clear path. I don't see alternative out there that is so clear enough for us to see, to say this is the alternative. These are the people that are we are going to leave our government to, who are going to lead us the next. So there's a lot of thinking that needs to take place here. That's my assessment. Back to you, Chadizo.
Thank you, Lala, for taking us to that a little bit, and we'll taking the conversation to another level. And Lala, we appreciate it for you joining us today inside the studio. We really appreciate for your contribution to so much, because you are here for us and we're here for Kenyans, and indeed you are true patriotics. We are true patriotic, and we still stand here to fight for Kenyans and still having the conversation to protect our nation and to cover our nation too. So I want to welcome you, so that we will take another level for the next few hours that will be here, and then we'll be getting away. So please, I welcome you, come early as possible. Don't just watch alone. Invite somebody to watch with we are checking also other opinions from other people and also other technicalities. I'm having a technical issue inside the studio, so you'll have to forgive me. I'm facing a technical issues hapa. Kwambia leo napelekwa mbio, hata sina nguvu ya kupumua hapa kwa studio. But I'll be okay. So I just want to remind you one last time, let us do this. Let us support Sound Candy Talk so that it can continue, keep on moving. We are using the digits on the screen. For those who are using the till number, it is 516575. And it'll be good, and God will bless you. And for those who are using the phone number, it's +25. We are using Bernard's number, which is +254 718 454 8585. Then the name is Bernard Makoha, and God will bless you as we move on swiftly. I will not stay so much because also tomorrow I'm having a school. I'm having a class tomorrow that I'm having to attend to, and it will be early in the morning. But what I want to take is, I want to take to another level, another gear. But before we do that, we'll be giving Lala an opportunity to give us maoni yake kulingana na general to Kenya mzima. Anafeel Kenya tunafaa tufanye nini ili tuende wapi? Yes, Lala.
Okay, I missed the point. Yes. What do you say?
I just want to give us your opinions too about Kenya and where do you feel we should take Kenya?
I think number one, we as Kenyans we must thank God that we have God has endued us with so much that is at our disposal. We have enough to eat. Okay, no Kenya should go hungry. We have a wonderful climate that can sustain us. That is an envy of the world. Nairobi is the best city weather-wise in the world, supposedly. There was some report some time back. Can't remember where I read it. We have rich mineral resources, agricultural, livestock, and things like that. Enough to take care of us. Okay, so God has blessed us. The problem is that we have not appreciated what we have, and we have the spirit of holding. Whether it's knowledge, we hold it. Whether it is our finances, we hold it. Whether it is time, is almost like we don't understand that the principles, God's principle is that when you give, that's when you get. If we can share what we have, knowledge and time, because even money is a lot of money, but money means nothing. It's only revolving around a very few places. Okay, I work for whenever there's a disaster, we go to last 20 years whenever there's a disaster. And what happens generally when there's a disaster in a particular place, whether it's flooding, one of the things to disappear is money. Okay, it's the trade and commerce is disrupted. And one of the goals for American Red Cross is to bring back money in those communities. So we go out to distribute money primarily. We go out there to make sure we give vouchers. People can go and buy things in those stores. In other words, money is part of the process of restoration. We want to make sure there's money, a lot of money flowing in those communities. In other words, money is only good if it is moving, if it is traveling around, if it is revolving, rotating in every segment of that particular community. Okay, but if only few people have it, then the others, are there watching. It means nothing. And as I end, I want to give you an example that close to us. There's a country called Nicaragua, and Nicaragua had a president called Ortega. Ortega was supposed to be a Sandinista, was supposed to be more socialistic, communistic from American perspective. So we worked against him very much in the US till he lost the election because we brought in a lady who was pro-West, pro-US, and this lady won. And after she won, the supermarkets, every place was filled now with goods that were absent during more communistic, supposedly socialistic time of Ortega. The Nicaragua was new, okay? Everything was available, came from the US and others. The stores, it looked like very modern. But then for the next 5 years, Nicaraguans could not afford those wonderful things in those supermarkets, okay? Because they didn't have the money. Money was not involving, circulating in all certain areas, okay? It's only with a very small pocket of people. And after 5 years, whom do they elect to go back to be a president? It's Ortega. Because at least when Ortega was in power, the little money they had was going around, circulating in the entire country. And in Kenya, the problem is that the money is circulating in among a very small segment of Kenyans. We only see that money when there's election time. Then they start buying people, people are now being bought like sheep, okay? And then after the election, they're gone, they're collecting that money back, okay, to revolve, go around. So that's why you see you can't take your kids to school, you can't afford medical care for your family, huwezi kupata matibabu kwa hospitali manake huwezi, na wale watajiri wanaenda huko nje, they do anything they want, they fly choppers and all that because the money is circulating a very small space, okay? And with that kind of a mentality, Kenya is going nowhere. Nowhere. So unless we think outside the box and get this money outside, so that it can also help those communities and others, that's when money can actually multiply. That's when it can grow. The economy can grow. God has blessed us. I want us to end with that, my statement that God has blessed us. And it's your responsibility and my responsibility to make sure that this money is spread. That's how it can grow. If you don't, it will not grow and will remain where we are. And when we remain where we are, we start going down. Thank you. Thank you to Dizo for giving me the chance, opportunity, and all of you in the background. And God bless.
Thank you, Lala. We are taking another short just commercial break. We are coming back with a lot more. Today I will reach a lot more. Want to hear from Kenyans from every side of Kenya. Don't go away. Just stay here. Just wait for a short commercial break. But we're coming back with more.
The Pharisees couldn't stand him, but they found out they couldn't stop him. Pilate couldn't find any fault in him. Herod couldn't kill him. Death couldn't handle him, and the grave couldn't hold him. Yeah! That's my king. That's my king. Hallelujah, yes, we are naga. Hallelujah, yes, we are naga. Hallelujah, yes, we are naga.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
Sound Candy Talk is timely, accurate, professional, and affordable. You have a complaint or compliment, any question concerning our broadcasting, contact us soundcandytalk@gmail.com. We are on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and X at Sound Candy Talk. Call us on 0718 45 45 85.
Welcome back. We are taking another level that we will want to hear from other Kenyans, also from other parts. Please call somebody to watch with so that we can get this knowledge together and we can get this understanding together so that we can get to know. I want to check out the story. I want to hear from other people, other opinions from other people about the story of Jerry, and it will be good so that we can hear also other opinions too and get to know and understand more of what happened over it. Let us stay tuned and let's be careful. This is the video and this is the response from every other people who spoke about this story.
Was simply heartbreaking. In a tell-all press conference, the two activists early this week narrated what they went through, all for their attempt to attend the treason trial of Tanzanian opposition leader Tundu Lissu in Dar es Salaam. Meanwhile, it's getting hot in the collar of internal critics of the Tanzanian government, with the outspoken member of parliament and Bishop Josephat Gwajima being the latest target. We stay across the border for an assessment of events in our southern neighborhood. But back home, no one knew Rose Njeri Tunguru until the National Police Service unveiled her as a website-developing young Kenyan. We have that story. We shall then move westwards to the lakeside town of Homa Bay, where Madaraka Day presented broad-based joys for residents and political leaders of that region. So what was the take-home? We take a broad-based view. On Jamila's memo, the art of shooting self in the foot, Kenya police style. On Kaikai's kicker, if you hate it, block them, countering the overlapping menace in Nairobi. And on my take, it's hats off to Boniface Mwangi, Agatha Atuhaire, and other activists for their countless sacrifices. Bonyo's Bone and Sam Sense take a break for today. The gang is here. Welcome to the program. The hashtag is NewsGang. And indeed, after that protest at the precincts of the High Court, Rose Njeri, who has actually said on Twitter that she would like to be referred to as Rose Njeri Tunguru, because the name Rose Njeri is fairly common and she, is owning the space. But after those protests and appearances in court, we'll talk about just who was there, she was finally released after 4 days in police custody. Jamila, how did we get to this point of a little-known Rose Njeri Tunguru now becoming national headlines for over a week?
I think to understand Rose Njeri Tunguru's ordeal, we need to listen to what she said when she was interviewed by our own Ben Kirui yesterday, talking about her 4 days in the cells.
Usiku nne, you've kept me away from my kids for nothing. Yeah, you've awakened something. I saw it online. Someone chambuad the bill. Someone was like, we need an emailer like last year. See, last year there was one. But there is not an original idea. I was like, I can do this because now I have a few skills that I've picked up from school. So to me, it's just Najenga portfolio.
You hear what she says? For me, Najenga portfolio. And it's what she was actually doing.
Yeah.
No, she says in that soundbite that she was not doing something new. Because last year, someone had chambuad the finance bill.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about how social media was being used by young people to try and explain what was contained in the finance bill 2024. I remember I did a story where they had even done a breakdown of what exactly was contained in the bill. and was being translated into different languages. There was even someone who was explaining it using sign language. Young people from different communities were explaining them. There was Somali, there was Kamba, there was Kikuyu, there was Luo. It was really translated. And there was a script because they didn't want their message to be distorted and they wanted the real thing to be able to reach the people. And she said someone did something like that last year, and I thought, why not do it this year?
Yeah.
It's not something new. And she was using her skills as a web developer and an activist to do that. But then, hey, presto, I don't know if that's the last word to use. Rose Njeri Tunguru was at a graduation ceremony in Nairobi's industrial area when officers from the DCI, walimchukua, arrested her. She was taken home, where detectives conducted a search and seized electronics and digital devices from her house. And Njeri talks about how she was taken to police custody. And I remember activists went to the police station trying to even see her, trying to find out what was going on with Njeri, and they were not allowed. In fact, on the day when she was presented to court, I remember LSK chair had gone to Pangani police station very early in the morning at 7:30, and she was told, and they were told that Njeri had already been moved. Where to? No one knew. And then finally she was presented to court, and of course we'll talk about who was there. But what is interesting about one of the things that Rose Njeri Tunguru said is that when she was taken from the police station, she was taken to the office of the ODPP. And they were parked outside there, and she says that's where the charge sheet was being drafted. So in fact, to her, she was like, all these 4 days that I'd been detained, there was no charges that was preferred against me, and the charge sheet was being drafted while on her way to court. And of course, that charge sheet raised a lot of questions in court when she was taken there. But I think putting her through that ordeal, and I don't know if Robert can play the soundbite of Rose Njeri's mother and Rose Njeri's aunt, we can listen to them back to back. They're talking about her ordeal. Rose is a mother of two, and for her, having to stay away from children for 4 days and in police custody, doing something that she says was really a service to the nation, was to her was ridiculous. Let's listen to what her mother and her aunt said after her arrest.
And then knowing there's a long weekend, I think that is very unfair.
Akona uoga, hajui what to do and what not to do. Hata hajui, wakati mwingine hata anakataa kuongea na watu. Hajui or the people that she should talk to or the people that she should not talk to.
Yeah, those are her mom and her aunt talking about her ordeal. But I think, Yvonne, for me, is what we said, that no one knew who Rose Njeri Tunguru was before she was arrested 5 days ago. No one knew her as any of the activists. In fact, last year, we have names that we talk about: Boniface Mwangi, Hanifa, we talk about Hussein Khalid, we talk about all these activists who came up during the Gen Z protests and after. Njeri was unknown. But now, going after her the way they did, they've turned her into a hero. Everyone is singing her praises, saying that she was doing something that all of us really would have wanted to do. But the fact that she was arrested and manhandled and taken before courts and all those things really raises questions about how something that we really wanted to keep quiet would burst open in our faces because of how things were handled, Yvonne.
Yes, and I think before we get into even what that charge sheet looked like, I'd just like us to listen to what you were saying, Njeri's statement after her release from custody, where she talks about the number of men that were sent, to arrest her. Let's take a look at that.
The illegal arrest and the intimidation by around 15 men, that's 3 Subarus, versus the lack of crime committed was ridiculous. And I'm happy that you all saw that as the case and reacted as you did.
All right, and that is, that was after her arrest and speaking on 15 men and all of these Subarus. But, when we talk about even the sort of work that she's been doing, it's in line with what young people have been doing over the last year, right? Which is using the tools that are available to them to make a difference and to put that out there. Before we even talk about that charge sheet with you, Linus, and what she is said to have done, Njeri may have been rather perhaps unknown, at least on a national scale, but online she's been doing some work. She is also behind a website called Insult Tracker that has been tracking the insults that we have seen hurled by politicians on the national stage. So this is activism that is being conducted by young people in the best way they know how, using the tools that are available to them. And so even when you take a look at that track record that leads us up to now this website surrounding the Finance Bill 2025, together which with the budget will be presented next week. I mean, Linus, that's where we are, and the charge sheet was rather interesting, was it not?
Yes, the charge sheet did trigger quite massive debate, especially online. Primarily for having very basic errors that include reference of Njeri as male, and she is female, in fact, very female. And here is a charge sheet that was misrepresenting, first of all, the gender of the accused or the suspect. But quite a lot of sympathies to the arresting authorities, because of the demeanor of the suspect. Yeah. Look at the demeanor of Njeri, very soft-spoken, small voice, which she describes it herself as small voice. And, it's not the traditional kind of suspect for the kind of force that we know our police service for, where you are arresting somebody that is either resisting or threatening. Yeah. This was a very soft kind of suspect. So soft that this ended up being actually showcased in the charge sheet. We don't want to preempt what the courts will do, but let's watch and see, because we have a very, very interesting charge sheet that attempts to actually suggest there was an offense in the generation of responses to the public participation questions that around the budget 2025. So this will be one of the most watched cases, because cybercrime is still a very slippery space, even in law, to just track and make sure you pin down what the offense is. My heart goes out to the magistrate that will handle this, and more importantly, to the prosecution that has had a very bad start, because once you start a case with spelling errors, the road ahead can become really rough.
Yeah, and I think that's what's interesting. And now in the era of everything that goes online, I mean, it's very easy for people to look at it and scrutinize. Like you said, there was spelling errors, there was, male. I won't go into discussing the merits and demerits, but, I wonder if you say male and it's female, if, you could just say, well, that's not me.
Yeah, it's the wrong person.
Wrong person. I don't know who that person is, but it certainly isn't me. But we will see how this case proceeds in court. But then I thought something else that was also interesting, even as we talk about the reactions to that, was who we actually saw in court. Because again, just like last year, I think with following the protests, we saw, I think, just public litigation at its best. The involvement of LSK to a great scale. But for a legal mind, and I don't know what this meant for you, Linus, to see a former Chief Justice now on the other side of a courtroom. I wonder if we can listen to him, the former Chief Justice, Maraga, who was representing Rose Njeri in court. Let's listen.
Being charged, in our view, she should be applauded for having done the work of Parliament, work of Parliamentary Committee, and the institutions which are there to receive views.
I mean, look at the barrage of lawyers there. Former Chief Justice Maraga, Ndegwa Njiru, former President of the LSK, Eric Theuri, I believe
even Kalonzo Musyoka was there.
Senior Counsel Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, and this is not to mention all the other lawyers, of course, who have stood with her. What a showcase, all right, for a case that, like you say, will be defining.
And there's a reason for this, and the reason is vigilance. You can tell that the sense, especially in the legal and civil liberty space, is there is a threat. This is one of those cases that can be seen from that perspective. That is it a threat to civil liberties? Is it a threat to freedom of speech? Is it a threat to basically the values that inform our democracy? Which is why you see how this then becomes a coalition of civil liberties defenders. We had Hussein Khalid, we had actually former CJ, and then two former CJs, yes. No less, and then lawyers, politicians who have a legal background. All of them, because they see this entirely from the perspective of threats to the civil liberties that this country fought so hard for. And it is Chinua Achebe that says that if you see a toad or a frog jumping during the day, then you should know that something is after its life. And that is why you see former CJ Maraga in court. And look at how straight he was. He just said, isn't this lady worth commendations and not condemnations before what she's done? And that in his view, which is way before the case even starts, she has done a better job than Parliament in executing the same task that Parliament is supposed to be doing.
Yeah, before you comment, I just want us to listen to that, to buttress what he was talking about, the civil liberties. Let's listen to Hussein Khalid, an activist, Manasseh Ahmed, on her arrest and what this means for civil liberties in the country.
Ako na haki ya kutumia akili yake kusaidia kuchangia katika masala ya kujenga taifa. We've asked the family ambao wameonana na Njeri na wameongea na polisi, wameambiwa she is being held on matters related to cyber crime. Na watu wakiuliza hiyo cyber crime ni nini amefanya ndio mnamshika na cyber crime, wana confirm ni hiyo website ambayo ametengeza.
It's oppression of freedom of speech, of the arts. We have Rose Njeri, who is doing what the government is meant to do by facilitating public participation, which is our constitutional duty and right. And by creating a platform where Kenyans can more actively engage, understand this finance bill. Wacheni uoga serikali.
So wacheni uoga serikali. You know, they speak about what Njeri did and what that meant for facilitating public participation. Yeah. Because if you look at the charge sheet, we talk about it here, the state accuses Njeri of unauthorized interference with computer systems for developing a web-based platform that allegedly sent mass emails to the National Assembly's Finance Committee. The prosecution claims the influx of emails disrupted normal operations of parliamentary communication systems. And the detectives allege that the platform developed by Njeri directed bulk emails to the official systems of the clerk of the National Assembly, and the prosecution argued that this constitutes a violation under the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act. Niko na swali. Is a public participation mnaambia watu tumeni memorandum kwa email ya parliament. Tuseme sisi sote wa Kenya milioni, let's acha nipunguze 40 million Kenya, tuseme tunatuma wote memorandum kwa parliamentary website, tunatuma maoni yetu kuhusu. So it wouldn't be able to handle it. So someone who's actually doing anawasaidia kufanya ile kazi mko mnafaa kufanya anashikwa, because don't expect people to say nice things when you ask for public participation. Si wote hatuwezi sema pale tupige makofi sema finance bill nzuri sana, endeleeni mbele. Now I know people will raise questions, so if you did not want people to raise questions, don't ask for opinion in the first place. But ni sheria lazima upate maoni ya wananchi, because finance bill affects all of us, and it doesn't make sense that someone who's actually using their skills, in fact the best thing would have been Rose Njeri kuja tufanyie kazi hapa kwa serikali tusaidie kukusanya maoni, how to do this,
and perhaps to build a system that is able to take
bulk
a few hundred emails,
thousands in emails.
However, you would imagine they would be prepared, right? Because last year, remember how many memoranda they received on email? Remember how many hundreds of individuals, private sector representatives made their views on that matter. Anyway, we will see how the courts go.
But perhaps it's open now. The finance bill had gone a bit chini ya maji, this particular one. But I think the events of last week have actually brought it all up, and people are really interested to see what is in this finance bill.
Right, and again, yes, Linus.
We spoke of vigilance on the part of the fraternity that defends the civil liberties of this country. But there is also a heightened sense of alert on the part of the security services.
Yeah.
Let's not forget where the 2024 June Gen Z's protests, how they caught everyone off guard.
Yeah.
And by everyone, I mean the security services. When suddenly things seemed to go out of hand. They didn't see the risk.